Hello, friends. Welcome back to Sincerely Self Podcast. Welcome if you're new. My name is Lexi. I'm so happy that you're here. I apologize that we did not have a solo episode 2 weeks ago, the week of Thanksgiving. You guys, I was so freaking busy, which is no excuse. Absolutely no excuse, but we'll kind of dive more into that later in this episode. I'm really excited for this one. It's definitely more of a sit down talk, literally just saying what's on my mind because I haven't done one of those in a while. I've been trying to have topics, and anyways, we'll dive into it. But first, let's do a little debrief of kind of what's new. First things first, your girl did get engaged. Yep, I did get engaged on the 7th. So this episode will be uploaded on the 13th, I believe. So it will have been about a week, but I am so excited. I'm over the moon. If you guys want me to do a podcast sometime on just my relationship with my boyfriend, how we met, all those things, it's very Invisible String-esque, and he's amazing. I guess fiance. Actually, let me correct myself. My fiance. Yep. So down. Let me know what you guys think. I posted the pictures on a little bit on TikTok. I've talked about it a little bit on Instagram, especially my main Instagram. So here's your weekly sign from every episode that I do. I always say follow the Instagram. Please go and follow it. That's how you'll keep up to date with everything going on in my life, especially when I'm lagging episode wise. Also with the TikTok, I've been getting so much better with the TikTok. My personal TikTok is also on the podcast one, so you can go and find it. I post way more on there, low key, but I'm getting better. I'm getting better at it. And if you want to go see the engagement pictures, I have those on my personal Instagram. It's linked in the description of my podcast Instagram, so you can go and check out those pictures. They literally are giving Hallmark movie, you guys. They're giving Hallmark movie, okay? I'm not going to talk too much about my engagement just because that's not the focus of this video, but I'm so blessed. I'm so grateful. And yeah, she's a fiance now. Without further ado, I really just want to kind of dive right into this episode because there's so many things that I want to cover here. But the overall topic, I guess, that we're going to be talking about is giving your all to God and trusting fully in Him. Also hand in hand with showing up as the version of yourself that you want to be, because I think both are so important. So, me personally, I feel like, and I think a lot of followers of Christ, and I'm going to say followers of Christ because I don't say I'm really part of any religion, honestly. And I think there's so many religions that you are a follower of Christ and you love Christ. So anyways, that's just what I'm going to refer to it for this episode. But I was on fire for God, I feel like, for most of this year. Just really, really, I don't know. I have episodes on it. It's like He was revealing Himself to me, and it's so, I feel like when you start getting into your relationship with God and you're awakening almost to God, it feels like you're on fire for Christ, and then it starts to kind of simmer out almost, and it's up to you to like keep that fire going. And for me, I was feeling deliverance left and right for the things that I was doing in my life, and 99% of them I was able to quit, whatever. Obviously, I'm human. Sometimes we fall back into sin, and I did fall back into sin with one thing, and I'm going to talk about that one thing. It's something that I personally have never really talked about, honestly, and it's a little nerve-wracking for me to talk about, but I think it's really important that I share my story on it. So I garden, if you know what I mean by that. And, well, I did anyways, and I did for like 4 years, and I felt deliverance from God to quit a few months ago, and I did for a while, and then life happens, and I feel like that's always your test, and I failed it. I started gardening again. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but I specifically felt deliverance from it. And that's how I knew this is hindering me in some way. And when I quit and then started again, I did notice some of those ways that I hadn't noticed before. I didn't have as much motivation. I felt lazy, honestly. Even though I was constantly doing things, I just didn't feel motivated to do anything. I didn't feel joy in really anything that I was doing. And I noticed like physical symptoms as well. Like I was getting more lightheaded easily. I feel like my skin gets really dull when I'm consistently gardening, and also my under eye bags get pretty bad. But for me, I use it for, like, I have a chronic illness. I have endometriosis, and it's painful, and I use gardening as medicine a lot of the time, and it does help. But then I also have been using it as a crutch. Like, I can't feel calm unless I garden. I can't clean unless I garden. I can't de-escalate myself unless I garden. And that's where it's becoming a problem. And that's where I see God kind of opening up my mind to the fact that this is something that's not only hindering my development, but also my relationship with him. Like, he has a plan for me. And the more that I resist and hold on to things that are no longer serving me, the longer it's going to take for me to get to where I want to go. And that's really what I want to share in this episode, is letting it go and letting God. And everyone says that, and it's so much easier said than done. But as of this today, literally today, you guys, I am stopping gardening again because I've been feeling the deliverance and I simply haven't been listening. And even though I'm scared, I'm not scared. I just use it as a crutch, and I didn't realize really until now. It has pushed me to be more in the Word of God. And something that I've been reading a lot of followers of Christ have been reading the book of Luke for the month of December leading up to Christmas to kind of learn the story of Christ. And in the book of Luke, I believe it's like chapter 6, possibly chapter 5, and Jesus is saying, like, he's healing a woman. He says, "You're healed because of your faith." She touches the cloth of his clothing, and he's like, "Who touched me?" I literally felt the virtue leave my body. And she's no longer hidden by the crowd. They disperse, and she says, "It was me. I'm sorry, but you healed me right when I touched you." And he said, "I didn't heal you. Your faith healed you." There's another circumstance where I believe he was healing someone who was blind, and he said, "Your faith healed you." Jesus says multiple times that your faith is what heals you. If someone who does not believe that Jesus is the Son of God were to touch him, it might not have been the same effect. All these people knew that if they were in the presence of God, that they would be healed, and their faith is what healed them. Jesus says to follow him. Jesus says to be like him, to live like him. And when he says to follow him, I really think he was giving us a guide. This is how I want you to live. I want you to take care of others. I want you to treat others how you want to be treated. I want you to give to the poor. I want you to take care of the sick. I want you to live like me. Follow me. And so I think we all forget that. And we think, if I pray, that's enough. If I don't sin, that's enough. And no, if you want these blessings from God, you need to live as he did, as Jesus did. And then you will receive tools that will help you get to where you're meant to go in this life. I really believe that. And I'm feeling called to share a story that I've never shared, but it's actually so crazy, you guys. And it happened earlier this year. So I had this car, and it was a Mitsubishi Lancer. I loved it, but it was going to the ground. Like, it was always having so many problems, and it really, really stressed me out. And at this time, financially, I was not doing good at all. I was trying to find another job. I wasn't making money from the podcast yet. Whatever. I didn't have very much money. And this car, it was coming around time that I needed to re-register it. And I have PTSD because some people can go a while and not register their car, and they just are like, hee silly. You guys, when I moved back from the oil rig, the day I moved back from the oil rig, I got pulled over and got given a ticket because my registration was out. And it went out while I literally had just gotten home. And I got a ticket. So I have PTSD from it. It's whatever. I was going to go register it, and in the state of Utah, you cannot have a muffler delete, which is what I had. You have to have a muffler. I had a muffler delete on my car, and I was going to either have to buy a new muffler piece and reattach it, which was going to be super expensive because I also don't know how to do that, and then I had to pay for the part, and then I also had to pay to register my car, or I could try and sell it and try and get a new car, and I didn't know how I was going to do that either. And I prayed a lot about it. I prayed so much about it to the point that I started feeling peace, and I just grounded myself in the peace. And anytime I started overthinking it, I just told myself, God, has got me. God has got me. I can't stress. God has got me. And eventually this girl reaches out to me, or this mom reaches out to me and says that her daughter's looking for a car. They don't live in Utah. They live in Idaho, really close to Utah though, like 45 minutes away from where I live, honestly. But in the state of Idaho, the muffler delete is legal to register your car. At this point in time, that was really the only thing wrong with my car, because I had put so much money into it that the only thing that was wrong was that it needed a couple new tires, and I couldn't register it because of muffler delete. And so she wanted to buy the car for her daughter. They came and looked at it a couple times, and I just kept telling myself, God's got me. God's got me. It's going to work out. I also didn't even have a car that I was looking into, which I didn't have a way around at all. There was no extra cars. There was no one who could drive me places. My boyfriend didn't have a car at the time, or my fiance didn't have a car at the time. And so I was screwed if I sold my car and I didn't have another one. But I just kept trusting God, just kept trusting God. And I ended up selling my car. And that same day, it was a Saturday, I also didn't tell anyone. The only person I told was my fiance. And he went with me to the bank. We paid off. I had a little bit of a loan on my Lancer, literally like $1,000. We paid it off. And I had previously gone to the bank to see if I could get a loan for a car, but a different car, but I wasn't able to because my income was too low. And so I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get another car? Well, I paid off my Lancer loan and it immediately boosted, and I was able to get approved for another loan. Well, I'm looking on Facebook, just sold my car, have no idea what I'm going to do. And I see my mom and I'm like, hey, I sold my car. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. But I had peace with it. Then literally like 20 minutes after that conversation, I'm looking on Facebook and I find this BMW, and it was a little bit more money than I had wanted to spend on a car, but it was in like amazing condition. I bought the Carfax on it. It was clean title, amazing history on the car, and it was like 2 hours away from me. So my boyfriend had been driving his dad's car at the time. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. And we call my bank, and over the phone, I'm taking out this loan. I'm approved for the exact amount that I need for the car. The exact amount that I need for the car. Keep in mind, I tried to get a loan for less probably 2 weeks before this happened, and I wasn't able to. Like, it literally just lined up that I was able to get a loan for this car that I had just found. Get the loan for the car before I've even seen it, before I've even driven it. Get the check for the car, get everything I need for the car. Head down, and I buy it, and it's been amazing. It is an amazing car. It's been so amazing. God bless. And the only explanation I have for how that happened is God. I showed up as someone who knew that God had my back, and it completely showed through. And anytime I felt like things might go wrong, I just told myself God's got me, and he did. He simply did. And that story always makes me feel shook, because I'm just like, I can't believe that happened. And so I really think to gain these blessings from God, you have to start showing up as somebody who knows God has your back. And even if your faith is not that strong yet, you will have situations and circumstances happen, and you've already had situations and circumstances happen that you can see God's hand so clearly in your life. And if you can't think of one, pray to him and say, God, help me remember a circumstance where you have directly guided me through that, and it'll pop into your mind, I promise you. And you'll be able to build that foundation, because God says to have a faith of a mustard seed. Mustard seeds have really, really, really deep roots. That's the point. A deep-rooted faith, and even if it's still developing, as long as you know through and through that God has got you, and that no matter what you're going through, as long as you're turning to God, you're going to be okay, then you will be okay. And so as I'm trying to be more of a follower of Christ and let go of these things that I'm gaining deliverance of, that's another thing. The longer that I've had a relationship with God, the more that I felt deliverance from things that I have never seen anything wrong with before. And suddenly I'm seeing exactly why this needs to be out of my life, exactly why these things and these people and whatever needs to be out of my life. I'm seeing exactly why. And it's things that, like gardening, you guys, I never ever, I thought even while I was developing my relationship with God that it was fine. It was fine. And now I can see exactly why it's hindering me. And like I said, wait until you feel deliverance for something, because I think a lot of the time people who are followers of Christ love to push their beliefs on people and stop doing this, stop doing this. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing anything until you feel like God is telling you that, because I've I'm not your judge, you know what I mean? And that's the most important thing to remember, is that you are not somebody else's judge. You need to love someone exactly how you would want to be loved, and you need to treat someone exactly how you would want to be treated, and treat them as your equal. Just because I am developing my relationship with God and maybe I'm having a conversation with someone who is not and doesn't have one, doesn't make me more than them at all. We are completely still equal. And I need to treat them as that. I need to treat them as a sister in God, a brother in God, whatever. And so, yeah, that's kind of the point I want to get across with this episode, is that once you start showing up as the person that has the things that you want and you know that they are from God, they will start showing up for you. And so for me, I'm going to make more of an effort to have my podcast be a very prevalent part of my day, because that is what I want my future to be. And so I need to show up and have the faith in it that it will pull through exactly how I want it to, because this is what I feel called to do. And sometimes it's as simple as that. I've felt called by God to do this for so long. I don't need any evidence that this is going to be what I want it to be. I don't need any evidence. I just need to trust and follow the deliverance of when it's time to let things go. So, I love you guys. I apologize that this episode is a little bit shorter. The solo episodes always tend to be, but make sure that you check out the episode next week. It's a little bit different than something that I've ever really done, and I'm excited. I think it's going to be really fun. I love you guys. Make sure you follow the TikTok, the Instagram, all the things. And I will see you guys next week.